You understand that if these people are seeing an 80,000% increase in the amount of retweets they're getting, they're probably gonna keep talking about this. You're giving them, this is like a dopamine release incentive, the likes of which the human body has not evolved to be able to handle. Ali Beth Stuckey, I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you. So new bigot for the Rolodex, I guess. But either way, if Ali Beth Stuckey all of a sudden is like, 80,000 retweets? All I have to do is call all gay people groomers. All I have to do is say that every trans teacher is grooming children just by existing. That's it. Well, I figured out this social media thing. Here we are. Let's do it. So, Elon Musk, Space Karen. He has bought Twitter. Twitter has gone from a cesspool of SJWs, woke scolds, cancel culture 1984, Greg Orwells, to what it is today, a bastion of free speech where the Nazis run wild and control everything. Now, it's actually kind of funny, this whole arc, because it demonstrated that, and we now know this thanks to the Twitter files that keep getting released. It's come out that rather than being this left-wing liberal cesspool that they thought, Twitter was, run by SJWs, it was actually a company, a massive tech company, operating like a publicly traded corporation would, as in trying to consistently refine and update both the user experience to be as addictive as possible, to increase interactions on it, while at the same time balancing that with maintaining trust and safety so that, children aren't being exploited, people in certain countries are not being assassinated, because it does have an incredible amount of power and reach, as these massive tech companies can, and also it was a delicate dance to be able to do that, alongside having advertisers. Clearly operating as everyone thought, as a company. So now we have a new thing. Elon Musk has gone in and really kind of speed run a demonstration to everybody that billionaires are not super intelligent. They're not particularly good at everything they do. They can be human like the rest of us and be complete and utter fools. Again, anyone could have run Twitter better than Elon Musk has run Twitter. So if you did nothing, so if you are inanimate, so if you are just an object in your house, you could have done a better job than the smartest man on the planet, Elon Musk, the super genius. And we've also heard about the increase in hate speech. If you're on Twitter, if you have a big account, you probably notice, as I certainly have, that let's just say hate speech has ramped up dramatically. If you're part of the LGBTQ plus community, giddy up, because you're going to be called a groomer every single day. In fact, if you defend any aspect of people going after the LGBTQ plus community, you'll be called a groomer. Doesn't matter if you're straight, if you're cis, doesn't matter what you are. If you're a woman, oof, heaven forbid. The amount of misogyny just ramped up dramatically on the old Twitters now. And all these old accounts are back. We have the Daily Stormer just out of the woodwork. Soon we're going to have them all celebrating, high-fiving. Richard Spencer and Nick Fuentes are all just having the time of their lives. All this kind of stuff. But now we have some data. Some hard data. A new report from Media Matters and GLAAD shows that since Elon Musk took over as Twitter CEO and plunged the company into chaos with erratic decisions, anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric has increased on the platform despite the claims and actions to the contrary, including disbanding Twitter's Trust and Safety Council. They dissolved it the other day. Like the head of Trust and Safety eventually left the company, as did a handful of other members. And that's kind of fucked up because the Trust and Safety Committee is responsible for making children aren't exploited on the platform. And then Elon Musk all of a sudden is like, I got rid of them and all the child porn is gone. They were protecting child porn. And everyone's like, wait, what? Oh, okay, no one needs evidence on that one. All right, he's just running with it. And then all of a sudden he was like, Yoel Roth, the ex-head of Twitter Trust and Safety, he's a pedo. Yeah, big old pedo. I don't know if you knew this, but he's a massive pedo. He wrote an essay for his thesis, for his PhD, about being a pedo. It's a pedo essay. Look at this. Here's a page from it. It turns out that was a lie. He wrote an essay about how young queer people might use social media. We shouldn't ignore it, and we should figure out ways to protect them because they are going to do it. Because young queer people will lie about their age and go onto Grindr to try and meet people. So we should be able to detect this kind of stuff and or try and prevent it or stop it in order to protect young queer people. That's the point of the thesis and certainly the point of the page that Elon Musk posted, hoping no one would actually read it or understand it. Yeah, it hasn't been a great time. And now that entire committee has been dissolved. So there's no Trust and Safety Committee heading the Trust and Safety team, which, what could possibly go wrong? Anti-LGBTQ plus accounts that saw substantial increases in both retweets of and mentions in the tweet with the slur included the slur of a groomer or pedophile. Tim Pool, Jack Pasebic, Jack Shield, Gays Against Groomers, Blair White, Ali Beth Stuckley, Andy No, Seth Dillon, and Mike Serenovich. These are the top ranking ones. Collectively, these 9 accounts saw over 1,200% increase in retweets of tweets with the slur, going from nearly 3,600 to over 48,000. And they saw an over 1,100% increase in mentions in tweets with the slur, going from 5,300 to more than 65,000. Now, with numbers this staggering, you'd think it would be a humbling moment, but of course, if you know the right to the far right, you know that never happens. And immediately, you've got Jack Pasebic and Tim Pool high-fiving each other. Jack Pasebic, the white nationalist, yeah, you know, high-fiving the 1488 guy. Anyways, being like, this is hilarious, we're in the top 10, blah, blah. And also, I think it's homophobic to call all LGBTQ plus people groomers. Why? Just because I'm using the word groomer, why do you think I'm labeling all LGBTQ plus people as groomers? Ha 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 ha, high five. Hey, look, Gays Against Groomers is in there. It's the words in the thing. They can't be a hate group. Like, oh my God. All right. So they live in a bubble, a hate bubble, where they can say whatever they want for money. By the way, Tim Pool does this for profit. Tim Pool can say whatever he wants for profit. Doesn't matter if it endangers people's lives. Doesn't matter if it endangers trans kids, gay kids, queer kids. Doesn't matter to them. They don't give a fuck. Doesn't even matter if they endanger cis kids, because guess what? That's what happens when you call in bomb threats to hospitals. That's what happens when people are seeing this stuff. We all know Tim Pool had, I would say, probably the worst response on almost anybody right after the Colorado shooting, which is straight up like, people were calling for a wood chipper. What did you think was going to happen? Yeah, well, they held a grooming event. Are you surprised? Fuck around and find out. And like, God damn, we don't even get the thoughts and prayers anymore. You just go right for that one. That's pretty fucked up. And like, it's so fucked up, it broke some people's minds. YMS, I don't know if you watched YMS video on it. He genuinely was like, I can never interact with these kind of people again. He's like, I have in the past. And like, honestly, it's fundamentally evil what you're doing. This is, you are taking a fundamentally evil position that right after a massacre in which 5 people died. And that massacre, by the way, that wasn't a grooming event. That wasn't even the drag for children event. That was just people being slaughtered for going there, for just being in the LGBTQ plus, the queer club. That's just existing. That's what happened. Other right-wing accounts also saw substantial increases of mentions in tweets containing the slur. For instance, Libs of TikTok saw more than a 600% increase in its mentions, going from nearly 2,000 to nearly 14,000, while Representative Maria Flores saw an increase of 6,000%, going from nearly 70 mentions to over 4,000. Anti-LGBTQ plus figure James Lindsay and right-wing satire Babylon Bee have earned thousands of retweets or posts perpetuating the anti-LGBTQ groomer slur and have been mentioned in thousands of tweets referencing the slur since their accounts were reinstated by Musk. Mentions of prominent LGBTQ plus accounts. And by the way, when it comes to James Lindsay, he may be falsely appearing in some of these results because he does hang out with, again, one of the head members of the Nexium cult. They're good friends. They pal around. There's lots of pictures. They go on road trips together. And she was, again, part of a, what's that word? Oh yeah, sex trafficking, grooming, pedophile cult. Yeah, the leader got arrested for child sex trafficking, rape, pedophilia. Oh, that shit. Yeah, so that could be sometimes why he appears. So someone's like, look at this groomer, and then there's a picture of the two. That could be why it's showing up as much as it is. Mentions of prominent LGBTQ plus accounts in tweets with the groomer slur also increased during that time frame, with one account seeing an increase of over 225,000% after Musk officially acquired the platform. 225,000%. The orders of magnitude at this point. So here are the top 10 anti-LGBTQ plus accounts spreading the lie that groomers and pedophiles are queer people because they hold queer events. Tim Pool, Jack Pasebic, Gays Against Groomers, The Hate Group, Jake Shields, James Lindsay, Babylon Bee, the comedy website, Blair White, Ali Beth Stuckley, Andy No, Seth Dillon, Mike Serenovich. And yes, everyone was kind of playing it a little close to the chest back then because, they were worried about getting roasted. So they're like, oh, all right, well, if I can't call all these gay people pedophiles, what can I call them? Like, even James Lindsay tried to do a strategy where he's like, I will completely redefine what the word means to my own. And now it's like basically any adult that tries to introduce a child to adult activities when they are still a child is considered grooming. And you're like, well, that won't work either, James. Like, I mean, if a kid goes to a soccer game or plays music or watches TV or reads a book or eats food, those are all things that adults do. Going for dinner is also considered an adult activity. Doesn't have to be all the time, though. Neither the soccer. Like, you understand what's happening. This is, I hate to do the slippery slope on you, but Elon Musk officially acquired Twitter on October 27th and tried to reassure advertisers and civil rights leaders the platform wouldn't become a free-for-all hellscape and would continue to combat hate and harassment. Oops. Despite these assurances, Musk quickly started reinstating previously banned accounts, including those of high-profile right-wing users, such as former President Donald Trump. I will add, by the way, so I know that over 50% of the advertisers have left. Okay, that one makes sense. There's a lot of mainstream brands I'm still occasionally seeing. Like, don't get me wrong, it's at least 80% of like Crypto Dog 57 wants to teach you how to use Doge to make your dick big and like shit like that. But then once you get through a handful of the ads, it's just like, whoa, Wendy's, what you doing? Oh, Disney, is this a Disney movie? DreamWorks, what are you doing here? DreamWorks, why are you below Jack Pacebic in a tweet? This is weird. Okay. Prior to Musk's acquisition, Twitter's policy against hateful conduct applied to the term groomer when it was used as a descriptor in the context of discussion of gender identity. Right-wing figures, including Lindsay, repeatedly violated this policy using the slur to harass LGBTQ plus people. Yeah, all the time. Like, he must have called me a groomer. I want to say maybe 20 plus times. It would, after a while, he would give up on even trying to address my arguments and would just be like, okay, groomer, oh, grooming again, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was like, this is all you got, James. Media Matter analyzed Twitter data from the Dewey Square Group, sourced via the Twitter API, and found that since being reinstated, Lindsay has earned over 1,700 retweets on his post perpetuating the anti-LGBTQ plus groomer slur, and has been mentioned over 4,700 tweets mentioning the slur. The Babylon Bee has similarly adopted the anti-LGBTQ plus slur and earned nearly 1,600 retweets on his groomer-related posts, and it has been mentioned in over 1,700 related posts. Further analyzing the data, comparing the tweets mentioning the anti-LGBTQ plus slur, groomer, and grooming during 2 months before and after Musk's acquisition of Twitter, we found that retweets of right-wing figures' tweets included the slur increased substantially, as did mentions of right-wing figures and tweets containing the slur. Anti-LGBTQ plus accounts and figures including libs of TikTok, Matt Walsh, and Christopher Rufo, prominent conservative politicians such as Representative Maria Flores, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and right-wing media personalities Tomi Lahren, Charlie Kirk, Hodge twins, Donald Trump Jr., Fox News all saw a significant increase in their mentions in the tweets with groomer rhetoric during the study time period. For instance, libs of TikTok saw more than a 600% increase in the mentions, going from nearly 2,000 to 14,000, while Flores saw 6,000, going from 70 to 4,000. Just, whoo, wow. Look at libs of TikTok after Musk. Because we're having a good time, Matt Walsh, nice. Anti-LGBTQ plus, massive boost. Christopher Rufo, Maria Flores, Lauren Boebert. Look at that. Right-wing YouTuber Tim Pool's main Twitter account, which has roughly 1.4 million followers, saw an increase of 2,700% for retweets or tweets with the slur, going from 700 retweets with more than 20,200. Pool also saw an increase of nearly 3,000 in his mentions and tweets containing the slur, going from more than 1,000 mentions to over 31,000. Remember when that little boy posed with a naked man and they said drag isn't sexual? Then they try to gaslight us but defend this and other little boys stripping for adult men, calling it a costume change. This is grooming. Trans are grooming children. Jack Pacebic, neo-Nazi collaborator Jack Pacebic's account, which has roughly 1.9 million followers, saw an increase of 2,800% for the retweets of the tweets of the slur, going from 400 retweets to nearly 11,700. Pacebic saw an increase of over 1,500% in his mentions and tweets containing the slur, going from more than 800 mentions to over 13,300. He also had the shirts that he was selling with the groomers, and then they had the gun and all that kind of shit. Jake Shields' account, which has roughly 270,000 followers, saw an increase of more than 9,500% for retweets or tweets with the slur, going from 60 retweets to more than 5,800. Shields saw an increase of 8,000% in his mentions and tweets containing the slur, going from more than 80 mentions to over 6,500. I have noticed, by the way, when I put, like, you know, groomers in a tweet, the mentions just fill up with the most fucking disgusting people being like, oh, you deserve a bullet, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, here's the only cure for the groomers. It's like a wood chipper picture, and you're like, Jesus Christ. You all think you're like changing the world where you're just all over internet, like, blah, blah, hunting the pedos, blah. Meanwhile, like, all the Republican politicians are like, hey, hello, we're doing pedo shit over here. Guy, one of the fucking QAnon dudes is like, oh, yeah, one of the biggest names in QAnon. It turns out I was a massive pedo. Oh, look, a whole bunch of Republicans, they're also massive pedos. Hey, look, Catholic Church, fucking thousands of pedos right there. Huge organization. Oh, child brides, child marriages, child beauty pageants, pedos everywhere. Fucking pedo festivals, those things. You gonna kick in some doors? You gonna kick in the doors of the church? You gonna do that? You gonna protest? You gonna jump in there with a whole bunch of shirts that say, like, you know, Roblox your local groomer? You gonna do that? Or you gonna scream at them? You gonna film the whole thing? You gonna post it, Alex Stein? You're like, oh, look, I'm going out to the groomers. Where's my groomers? Are you gonna do any of that shit? Anti-LGBTQ account Gays Against Groomers has roughly 140,000 followers, saw an increase of 300% for retweets of tweets with the slur, going from 1,500 retweets to over 5,700. Gays Against Groomers saw the increase of 300% in its mentions of the tweets containing the slur, going from more than 1,900 mentions to over 7,700. Blair White, right-wing YouTuber Blair White, who, by the way, in Tim's replies, well, I forget what she said. It was something like, you know, absolute clownery that I'm even in this or something like that. Right-wing YouTuber Blair White Twitter account, which has roughly 465,000 followers, saw an increase of 3,300% for retweets of tweets with the slur, going from 50 retweets to almost 1,600. White also saw an increase of over 2,500% in her mentions in tweets containing the slur, going from nearly 80 mentions to over 2,100. If you hear the word groomer and assume it's an anti-LGBT slur, it says more about how you view the LGBT people than the people trying to call it the groomers. Someone says, okay, groomer. Anti-LGBTQ plus podcaster Ali Beth Stuckley's account, which is roughly 390,000 followers, saw an increase of 80,000%. 80,000%. You understand that if these people are seeing an 80,000% increase in the amount of retweets they're getting, they're probably going to keep talking about this. You're giving them, this is like a dopamine release incentive, the likes of which the human body has not evolved to be able to handle. Ali Beth Stuckley, or Stuckey, I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you. So new bigot for the Rolodex, I guess. But either way, if Ali Beth Stuckey all of a sudden is like, 80,000 retweets? All I have to do is call all gay people groomers. All I have to do is say that every trans teacher is grooming children just by existing. That's it. Well, I figured out this social media thing. Here we are. Let's do it. Far-right grifter Andy No's account, which has roughly 1 million followers, saw an increase of 70%. I mean, those are rookie numbers, Andy. To be honest, for fucking one of the worst names on this list, one of the most dangerous people on this list, one of the people who's actually posing a threat to a lot of people's lives, yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Going with the slur, going from nearly 500 retweets to over 800. No also saw an increase of more than 50% in his mentions and tweets containing the slur, going from nearly 800 messages to nearly 1,200. James Lindsay was banned for using the word groomer to describe far-left ideologues. No, he just called everything he didn't like groomer. He called cereal, breakfast cereal, Fruit Loops, groomer cereal. He called breakfast cereal groomers. No. Trade shows are harmful to children. This is grooming. This is child abuse. Babylon B CEO Seth Dillon's account, which is roughly 500,000 followers, saw an increase over 120% for retweets of tweets with the slur, going from 360 retweets to over 800. Dillon saw an increase for more than 160% in the mentions of his tweets containing the slur, going from nearly 500 mentions to over 1,200. So she's saying the grooming works, and we need to fight harder to stop it. Mike Serenovich. Rape apologist Mike Serenovich's account, which is roughly 1 million followers, saw an increase of roughly 66,000 for retweets of tweets with the slur, going from 1 retweet to over 660. Well, I mean, this one is I would say cop stats, like propaganda, when all of a sudden the percentages look scarier than the reality. In this case, he went from 1 to 660. Don't get me wrong, that's still a shocking increase to go from 1 to 660, but he only had done it one time before, and then all of a sudden was like, ooh, oh, well, this is paying off. Groomer. Serenovich also saw an increase of 7% in the mentions of the tweets, with 120 going to 1,000. LGBTQ plus accounts have seen an increase in anti-LGBTQ rhetoric targeted. Oh, no question. I will tell you the two topics that I tweet about now that get fucking the most amount of just non-stop hate in the replies, and it just floods, are LGBTQ plus issues or indigenous issues. One of those two. The indigenous issues, immediately they're like, why do you hate white people, you white traitor, and weird shit like that. And you're like, I don't hate white people at all. It's like pointing out how something is hard for someone doesn't mean the other person is simultaneously evil at the same time. If you're perpetuating it, sure. If you're like, that's good, I want that to keep happening, then yes, okay, fine. But if you're like, oh, that's fucked up, then someone's just pointing something out to you, you know? It's very weird stuff. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arnie, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.